And boom. Yeah, you can go ahead and join Anan Sofo, I think your name is. Yeah, go ahead and click the join button and go ahead and come on up. I'll go ahead and invite you up real quick. All right, Anan, how's it going? I'm all right. Are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board? All right, great. What do you disagree with and why? Okay. W- Okay, cool. All right, cool. So go ahead and all right, cool. Go ahead and pick one and we could talk about it. Which one do you want to talk about first? Let's see. Well, let's talk about universal health care. Why do you think that we shouldn't have universal health care? Yes, it'll be free at the point of service. It'll be like driving on the road. You don't pay a toll to drive on most roads. So same way we pay for everything else now that's public through our taxation. You could just open Medicare for all because we're already doing that. How much that put us in debt? It would actually decrease the debt over time. But I think about last time I checked was about I think 10 trillion over 10 years. Yeah, Medicare. No, the VA is not universal, so it's not universal. It's not because it's not funded properly. Exactly. It'll be That's exactly why it'll be ran better because everybody's affected by it. We vote, don't we? We don't vote for the VA. That's ran by government committees. No, it wouldn't. You just all you have to do is have a public option or open up Medicare for everybody. Yeah, exactly. It's paid through our taxation, and you could pay for luxuries for on the private market. What do you mean you're not on the private market? You can pay for luxuries on the private market. That's how countries with universal health care and a private system do. Everything that we need is funded by the public system, and any luxuries like do you want new veneers or bigger boobs? You get on the private market. No, it hasn't. Well, actually, let me preference that. There are some areas where it did get worse, but that's the people who didn't. It didn't get worse everywhere, but it got better in the places that expanded their Medicaid. The states that expanded their Medicaid, like Georgia, like Maryland, I believe, the healthcare access actually got better, and the deductibles actually went down. Wait times are exactly the same. How, how do you hold on, hold on? It's not your turn yet. Why are there countries where they have wait times lower than us and have universal health care? Japan and Switzerland and France. Same or comparable. Same or comparable. What do you mean no one's done it the right way? There are several countries that already do it the right way. Why is access and quality of care better in countries that have universal health care than in this one? Are Americans just uniquely lazier? Right, our healthcare system is bad, and it's the public one, so let's change it. And it's the private one, so let's change that. Ain't no half. Ain't no half. Yeah, but that's not half. Matter of fact, the mandate was dropped 2 years ago. The mandate. Hold on. It's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet, Roach. The health. The we no longer have the mandate, and the government mandating you to do something does not mean half the system is run by the public sector. I can't go out and get health care on the public market. I can't do that because I live in a state that doesn't allow that to happen. That's why it's not a public thing. If I were able to go to a government agency and sign up for healthcare through them, then we would have half public, half private. We don't have that. It's not a half and half at all. Okay. So why should we have the profit motive in healthcare when we see what it causes? Like the yeah, it's shit. Yeah, the profit motive is the profit motive is shit. So we should take away the profit motive and have a better healthcare outcomes, right? But the wait times in several countries that have universal health care are lower than ours. So what makes us different? They don't do anything differently. They just have a public system, and the wait times are different. The wait times are lower. Oh, so Americans are just uniquely fucked up? So Americans are just uniquely fucked up? But you said the culture is different. I'm asking you, what the hell does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Exactly does that mean? For example, hold on, Bible. Yes, I'm serious. What does that mean? What does that mean? What do it mean by different cultures? For example, hey, Iris, hold on. When you say different cultures, right? For example, I'm Haitian, so the way I cook my rice is gonna be a different way from the way that Irish people cook their rice. That's a cultural difference, right? I speak Creole, an Irish person speaks English or Gaelic. So that's a cultural difference, right? When you say that the wait times are different because there's a cultural difference, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? You just can't say cultures are different and not explain what it means. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. So, the preventative. So you're saying that if we had universal health care, more people would go to would do preventative care options. Okay. Okay, so they do more preventative. Iris, don't get off mute again. So more people would do preventative care options, right? So hold on. You're saying that more people would go to the doctor for things that are unserious just because they can't go to the doctor. Okay, why do you think that? It doesn't. If people went to the doctor for every time they had the sniffles, the ERs would be flooded with people before having the sniffles, but they're not. I used to work in a hospital, my guy. They are not. I worked in a hospital a year ago. They are not. No, Bible, it's not your turn. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. It's Annan's turn. No, he can't speak because it's my live. It's your turn. So let's finish our conversation, and then he can go. So when I used to work in a hospital, the people going in there were not in there just for the sniffles. That's not what the ER is for. Unless the person is a baby, of course. If they're 5 years old with 102-degree fever, yeah, ER. But most grown people, they don't go to the hospital until their fever is like over 100 and they're fainting all over the place and vomiting. That's when they go. And at that point, it's something serious. It's more than a fever. People aren't just going to the hospital frivolously. That's not a thing. That doesn't happen. No, it does. Okay. I'll preface myself. I will preface myself. It is a thing that does happen. It is a thing that does happen. Hold on. Be quiet for a second. I understand that sometimes this is something that happens, right? It's not serious and the person still goes to the hospital, but it's not a widespread large thing. Out of the 100 people, out of the 1,000 people that are visiting the ER, probably 10 or 20 of them are going there because they had a cold or a headache. It's not going to be all 1,000 of them, or it's not even going to be half. It might even be one instead of the 10 that I said. I'm probably over-exaggerating by saying 10. It's probably just one. No one is wasting up resources to go to the hospital because they had a headache. Most people just go to sleep or take Tylenol. You can get off mute. Bible guy, it is not your turn. Give me 5 more minutes with Annan, and then it'll be your turn. Okay? Please. Irrelevant. Okay. Well, the private market has failed us, hasn't it? The health insurance was fucked up before the ACA, and that mandate doesn't even exist anymore, and that mandate doesn't even exist anymore. No, it wasn't. It wasn't better before. People had less access, and it's still cheaper, and it is cheaper, and it's expensive because of profits. That's why it's more expensive because it's not more expensive because of government subsidies. We always had government subsidies. And the mandate doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that happens all the time. I'm black, of course. Hmm. Hmm. No, I agree. We need to there are other things wrong with our healthcare system besides the actual profit motive, right? Like the food we eat and stuff like that. Probably one of the few good things RFK actually says. So yeah, there's that too. What I'm saying is that when it comes to the healthcare industry, the profit motive, we've seen that it causes a lot more problems than it actually solves. Yeah, we don't have the mandate anymore. Like a few years ago, I think back in what 2020 or 2019, we don't have the mandate anymore. Yeah, we don't have the mandate anymore. All right, we're just about out of time, but I do appreciate you being up here. All right, Andy? Nah, no problem. Have a good one. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody being up. Go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing. Keep liking the live and keep sharing. Everybody has about 15 minutes to call on. Oh, sorry about that. To come on up and speak to me. We are excuse me. We are gonna have a good time. We're at 3,000 likes. I appreciate everybody who got me to 3,000 likes. Let's go ahead and try to get us to 5,000 in the next couple of minutes. Alrighty. Hey, Laura, I appreciate that. Free Palestine, y'all. All right, Nana in Virginia, go ahead and come on up. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Oh, Laura, I gotta tell you about the Discord. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit you up right after the live, okay? And I'll let you know about the Discord. Nana, how's it going? Alrighty. I'm assuming you're over 18, and does he disagree with something I had on the board? Oh, you didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you did. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, technically, we did try. We actually did fix like stuff like obesity. We actually did fix it through GLP-1 shots. We technically have fixed it, which is a little crazy if you to tell you the truth. We technically, yeah, we technically fixed it. That's. I'm still kind of surprised about that. Like, wow, we've actually technically cured obesity. That's it's kind of crazy. But I do understand that there are people who are lazy out there, right? Who just don't want to do it no matter what. Like, I think we've all seen 600 pound life. Like, there are people like that who exist, like, no doubt. But I do think for the majority of people out there, they do want to change their life. Like, my doctor a year ago told me that I have a high amount of creatine in my kidneys, right? So I got to change, start eating more fruits and vegetables and lay off the steaks. And that's exactly what I started. That's exactly what I started doing, right? Because I don't want to pass away, so I started changing my life around. I think most people are like that. It's just the sometimes there is difficulties with things like food deserts, like nutrition not being available in their area, and yeah, some is just the human mind works on having doing the least amount of effort possible. Like, we're all like that. We all want to do the least amount of effort possible, and I guess just because of that, a lot of them just don't change their mind around. But I do get it. Like, there are people who are lazy. I agree with you. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I could agree that, and in some ways we've gotten some laziness out there, right? I think our I think the way our cities are built, kind of has to do with that because our cities are built like around the car. You know, what I mean, ever since like the yeah. So because our cities are built around the car, we just drive everywhere instead of like walking. When I think if we built more of our communities around walking, maybe that would like if my job was a 15-minute walk away instead of a 15-minute drive away, then that'll be a different story, right? Because a 15-minute drive is about 2 to 3 hours walking. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's best for us to build more walkable cities, even though I'm not sure how that's possible now because America is like 200 years old, right? So is it possible to build walkable cities? I'm not sure, but if we can, I think that's what happened because I do agree in a lot of ways. Our society has become a little bit lethargic, and I think that's just the way our cities are built. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. You're not getting anywhere. Exactly, exactly. I grew up in Miami, and that's how it was. Like Miami, you had to drive everywhere. You know, everywhere was 10, 30 minutes away. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's really the reason. Like I grew up in a neighborhood where the supermarket was about 10 minute a 10 minute walk. So I used to walk there all the time, to get something. But for bigger grocery hauls, unfortunately, you got to drive. There's not a lot of public transportation that'll take you around. But Nana, I do appreciate you being up. I appreciate the conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and get another DS on. All right, not a problem. Nice on you. Appreciate you. Will do. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Go ahead and keep liking the live, and keep sharing. I appreciate everybody who's gonna be up. I'm probably not gonna be on for long if we don't get a lot of guests up. If we don't get a lot of guests up, I'm not gonna be on for long. I'm just gonna go ahead and end the night and move on with my homework and stuff because I started my third semester, actually third or fourth. I think this is my fourth semester in my master's program, and yeah, bruh. Yeah, bro. Getting a master's is yeah. I mean, but okay. I do see Robert in the comments. Robert, you said that none of these make society better. I did invite you up. I said go ahead and come on up and we can talk about that. Let me know why you think these won't make society better because I think they would, especially if we reform our prison system. I'm getting a master's in clinical mental health counseling because I want to be a counselor, a mental health counselor. Um, I know, like, when I was going through things when I was young, especially when I experienced violence, it's something I had nobody to talk to. I had nobody to express myself to, and I kept a lot of those feelings in, and all those feelings being in, they became toxic in other ways. I mean, those feelings of like anger, fear, and confusion. When you hold them in, it's gonna come out somehow, some way, and it's gonna be very, very toxic. I think a lot of the issues that we see with young men today was just like internal sadness, internal confusion. You know what I mean? And it's being let out in very toxic ways. I think that's how we got the manosphere. I think that's how we got the red pill. Because there were a lot of these boys who were extremely lonely. There were a lot of these young men um, who were heartbroken, but they didn't know how to express it. They didn't know where to express it because even around other men, they might have been denigrated for those feelings. You see what I'm saying? So uh, the red pill in the manosphere circles, it actually gave them that outlet. You know what I mean? But it gave them that outlet and fed them toxicity in return. You see what I mean? So that's why I want to create like an anti-red pill, pipeline, a green pill, if you will. You know what I mean? I think that's what we need to do. Caddy, what's up, brother? Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. A lot of these things are what much more interconnected than people realize. You know what I mean? Because like what remember what I was saying before about us not having a lot of walkable cities. You know, spending all that time in your car, it can become depressing. At least out of my week, I'm spending what 2 3 hours in my car just driving back and forth from to work. That could be time I'm spending with my lady. You know what I mean? That could be time that we be spending together. That could be time I could be spending doing something else that fulfills me. You know what I mean? Like this. You know? Mm-hmm. 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 Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly, and I think that's the sad part about it, right? A lot of people have started to recognize it. Even the people who are like Trump supporters, right? Because it's crazy when you talk to them about what is the actual issues in society, they will skip over all of the all the leftists and the liberals and the trans, and they'll skip over all of that, right? They'll go immediately to the corporations are doing this, that, and the third. And it's like, you get it, but you're blaming the wrong group for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw someone talking about, the issues with jobs, right? He was like, we need to, like, these corporations who are not paying Americans a living wage are causing all the immigrants to come in. And then at the same breath, he's talking about deporting all the immigrants. So, like, shouldn't you be after the corporations? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah, exactly. One thing I've told people is that the reason why a lot of people immigrate to America, right, is financial reasons. That's a big part of the reason. And I've always said this: you're safer from the effects of the you're safer from the effects of imperialism when you live inside the empire. You know what I'm saying? So like I've always told people like realize that America does imperialism all over the world, right? And those people aren't safe in those places. So where are they going to be safe? They're going to be safe inside the empire. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing why a lot of Africans move to France or the UK or the Germany. Why a lot of people from South America and the Caribbean move to the United States. You're gonna be safer here instead of all the effects that is happening over there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why they come here. A lot of them know that America is the reason why their homelands are the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the opportunities aren't there anymore. So what am I to do? Go over to the next land that does have it. You feel me? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yo, but Caddy, I appreciate you being up, man. I'm trying to get some more people up here. Definitely stick around, though, brother. Yeah, yeah, not a problem. Hold on. Do one thing for me. Can you say test one real quick? Hmm. Okay, give me a second. All right, do it again.
Test, test, test,
There
test,
we
test.
go. There we go. Okay, so cool. Because my audio wasn't capturing. All right, cool. So my audio's capturing now. I appreciate you being up here, man. I'm trying to get some more ops up. Appreciate you. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and try to get more people up. Let's try to get more ops up. If you disagree with anything I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I would appreciate you speaking to me. What's going on, CT? Did the genocide end? Um, was there a peace? Was there a deal in Palestine? Did a ceasefire happen yet? I'm not sure. Laura could probably let us know. Laura, if you're still there, let us know what's going on with Palestine right now. Because I haven't been paying attention a lot of attention to the news because work has been insane, and then no ceasefire agreement. Man, how long are we gonna let this go on, man? How long are we gonna let this go on? I just do not understand it. I do not understand the ghoulishness of this. I do not get it. Like I don't know how cruel humanity can get. It's insane. I do not know how cruel man. I just don't get it. What do they want, bruh? Like these like 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 Hamas is and Hezbollah are basically done for. Like these people are basically done for. Like what do they want? Like what I don't get what else they want. Like there's never gonna be peace if you don't give these people dignity. If you don't give these people sovereignty and dignity, these type of issues will never end. Like they don't want to live in an Israel. They want to live where they were always living, in a Palestine. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why that's so difficult to do. Just let them keep the West Bank. Matter of fact, no, they shouldn't even let them keep the West Bank. Is like according to Orthodox tradition, like Israel is not supposed to exist until the Messiah comes, right? I haven't heard the Samson option yet, but now when you say that you're horrified, I know it's gonna be. I know it's terrible. And they attack Syria yet again. I don't, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? I don't understand why we're backing this. I don't. I truly don't. You know, I truly don't. And this goes for the so-called left wingers as well, who we know they aren't truly left. We know the Democrats aren't truly left. The Democrats at the most are center right. That's the most they are.
I didn't mean to harp on it too much, but it is the 2 year anniversary of like
Mm-hmm.
Israel's like concentrated plan for this, and like they have like attacked 7 other nations in the last month.
I, Dog, it truly boggles my mind. I do not understand it, bro. I don't get it. Like the bloodthirstiness of it all. I don't get it.
I think it really, I mean, I think the sad truth about it is that when Trump talks about Trump Tower Gaza, that's what it's about.
The
Like
bread, yeah, the money.
not that it's Trump, right? Not that it's like Trump got the Trump Tower Gaza. It's that They do. They just want to replace everything. They've been
Hmm.
doing it for a really long time. They used to just build a forest on a destroyed village. So I assume there's going to be some beautiful parks,
Hmm.
and like greenwashing. And we're really like, we're allowing us to eminent domain whole cultures, like on a global scale, and how that's going to be now available to all countries. Right? What
Hmm.
happens when China decides that they want to build out into the China Sea,
Hmm.
or India wants to build out and take back, you know, its previous territories or whatever in its own mind.
Right.
We see Dubai building out. Like, we're just going to see this, like, we can bulldozer your land
Hmm.
and build whatever we want on it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what we're gonna see, and it's not gonna be the world that they think it will be, because like there's a reason why conquest was made against the UN charters. That's a reason. There's a reason why, because it causes these proper problems. We've seen what happened. You know what I mean? Like wars for conquest is how we got colonialism, slavery, World War I and World War II. You know what I mean? So we put it into international treaties to not do wars of conquest, but we're letting Israel do wars of conquest. I don't understand it.
Well, I think it's because we're doing it with them.
Yeah.
Like, to say to say Israel is doing it
Hmm.
is to say that the tip of the spear is the one in control,
Mm.
right? Like, and we have more than one spear. I mean, we're going to see the test in Chicago. Like, I mean, I hope the mayor has the power,
Hmm.
but like denying ICE safe harbor in public spaces, I think is really, really important.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, for us.
Third Amendment.
I think it's the fourth, but like
uh,
they're gonna try to defend Chicago from some of that,
hmm.
and I think that we see that it is okay to smash people from far away,
Hmm.
but as they bring the front home, I think they're gonna find out that, like, bringing the front home is a mistake.
Hmm. Definitely. Yo, that one. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick reset for the lives. You guys come on back, okay? It's not going to be long. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a lap for 1 minute, and I'm gonna come back and go live again. All right? So no one go anywhere. Go ahead and if you haven't followed me yet, follow me now, because I'm about to go live
Yeah.
again in about 1 minute. All right? All right, y'all. I'll be back. All right? I'm about to just end this live real quick, and I'll be back. All right, you watching over on YouTube? I will be back. Just give me 1 moment, please. Yo, Gaddy. All right, y'all. Let's try to get this pushed out to the FYP. Start liking the live and start sharing. Start liking the live and start sharing. What's good, y'all? What's going on? What's good, y'all? What's going on? Let's go ahead and start getting this out there. Start liking the live and start sharing. Please start liking the live and start sharing. I appreciate everybody who's here today. Start liking the live and start sharing. I appreciate everybody who's here today. Ooh, sorry about that. All right, y'all. Start liking the live, start sharing. Start liking the live and start sharing. I appreciate everybody who's watching right now. Go ahead and drop those likes. Go ahead and share. Anybody who would like to come up and have a discussion with me, you are welcome to come on up. All right, y'all. We're just going to go ahead and wait for any guests to come up. Y'all see the topic on the board. Y'all see the topic on the board. If you would like to talk to me about anything that I have on the board, I will appreciate that. What's going on, Laura? I appreciate the likes, Laura. Let's go ahead and get those likes up. Let's go ahead and get some people in here. And you see the topic on the board, y'all. This month, I'm doing politics basically for the whole month. I'm pushing some of these policies. If you think these policies will not make society better, then come on up and let me know why you disagree and what would make society better. Be sure to join me Sundays with Black Atheist Rants, where we do the Thoughts and Rants show. You know, 2 Black Atheists versus 1,000 Christians. Go ahead and join me then on Sundays with Black Atheist Rants on his channel. We do the Thoughts and Rants show where we discuss religion. We discuss why we think black people should not be Christian, Muslim, or Hebrew Israelite. Now I don't know about Hinduism or Shintoism or anything like that, but those three we believe we shouldn't be those things. But go ahead and drop those likes. So I'm just waiting for a guest right now. If you're a person in the comments that does not agree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I would love to talk to you about it. Don't just scroll away. Don't just scroll away. Don't be shy. All right. We have a guest. All right, Chuck, how's it going? Chuck, are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yeah, I am over 18 and I disagree with just about everything you've got up there.
Cool. I'll go ahead and put a 15-minute clock up. Go ahead and pick something. Tell me why you disagree.
Well, universal health care, it's you're placing monopoly control of the people's health care in the hands of a few. That's tyranny.
That's already the case.
Yeah. So you decentralize rather than further centralize.
Right. So universal health care.
Universal health care is centrally controlled. It's fascist.
It's not centrally controlled.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No one controls it. It's just that the government pays for your health. That's it.
The state.
The state.
The
we all put. Yeah, we
the
all
federal
put.
government,
Yeah,
right?
right. We all put the our taxes into a risk pool for the health of society, and that's where it's all paid out of.
America is a federation of independent sovereign countries. It is not one nation. The federal government was not delegated the authority to access the people. It was only designed for external purposes.
No,
Read Thomas Jefferson, the Kentucky Resolution of 1798.
Yeah, so like they also put in amendments because they knew that the country would change, right?
Yeah, but not,
Yeah,
none
exactly.
of the amendments
So
passed the first
so
10.
if your logic was correct, then the 13th Amendment shouldn't have never happened, right?
It shouldn't have.
Oh, okay, so we should still have slavery.
No.
No, but you said
The
that
Constitution,
you said that it
the
shouldn't have
first
happened.
slavery was ended with the ratification of the Constitution.
No, it was ended with the ratification of the 13th Amendment. The actual original Constitution,
No, no,
the original Constitution protected slavery. You ever heard the
no.
Fugitive Slave
That
Act? Have you heard of the Fugitive Slave Act?
yes, I have,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
in the,
know about
it's
the 3/5 clause too.
exactly. All that's in the Constitution. So
Yeah,
the original
but that,
Constitution,
but see, we inherit.
The original Constitution did protect slavery. So when you
No, it
say
didn't.
that, so when you say
No, it didn't. It was
so
designed to end slavery. It
so if we have a 3/5 compromise, that means that they're protecting slavery. There's no way around that.
no,
These
there.
people
I can
these
no
people did not
wrong,
count the
wrong,
enslaved did not
wrong.
count the enslaved did not count as a full person. So
That
they're
was to
so that
limit
means so that means
representation
so that
from
means
slave
so
states.
that means they're
That was
protecting
to
slavery.
limit
So
representation
that
from slave
means they're
states.
protecting slavery.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
It ended slavery.
It did
It's a
not.
republic.
It did not.
Sovereignty rests in the
It did not.
individual in a republic.
Yeah,
That
so
means there's no
you,
masters, there's no slaves.
right, but we still had slavery under this framework. The 13th
You
Amendment is what
couldn't
stopped it.
end slavery in a
Yes, you can.
day.
Yeah, we could. I'm not saying that. Actually, we could have. We could have just said, no, we're not going to have slavery in this new country.
No, it would everybody would have starved to death.
No, they wouldn't have. You saying that we needed slavery in order for people not to starve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. I appreciate you being up. All right, Bible guy, how's it going, bro?
Well, my whole deal is so I lived in New York City, and there they basically have a lot of those things. Like you can easily get health care. They keep it a secret though. There's the right to shelter there, meaning no matter what, they legally have to give you shelter, food, and they give you food every day. But here's the problem: when I was there, I worked for the homeless shelter system, but also I had to stay there at first because when I first moved there, I fell into some hard times, but. And I was thinking to myself, this isn't gonna last. Someone is gonna ruin this. And sure enough, just a few years later, they started swarming New York City with the Venezuelan immigrants. Right?
Mhm.
They figured it out, and then they came and they ruined it. And they sent everybody. And I was talking about. I moved
Okay.
back
So
home.
let me
So
let
I'm got a point.
hold on.
Now,
I got you. So do you disagree with the guaranteed housing?
I'm telling you why it doesn't work, why it won't work, because they're going to flood. Like, okay, so I took that ideas back to Missouri where I lived
Okay.
and said, hey,
So
let's.
let me
Why don't
just
you
stop you
let
real quick.
people make a point, you fucking idiot?
Okay, cool. So go ahead and come on up, Brian Loki, if you would like. Go ahead and come on up. I don't know why people cry when they get up here. I don't know why people cry when they get up here. I let this dude talk for like 2-3 minutes, and then the moment I want to say something, he cries and whines. What be wrong with y'all, bro? It's not y'all live. All right, so Brian, go ahead and come on up. You said that it won't happen, and so for some reason doctors will be in debt. Nah, you talked for about 2-3 minutes. Yeah, I know you did because I have a timer up. And you talked for at least 2-3 minutes. And when you said I'm gonna explain why it doesn't work, and then you were talking about your story in Missouri. I don't give a fuck about your story in Missouri. Let's talk about the actual policy and why I won't like it to have nationwide. Nah, baby, are you going to actually have a discussion now? Because I don't care about your life story, dude.
Look, I was about done. That's why I got mad. Because
Okay, doesn't matter. So when we talk about the guaranteed housing, what I would want to happen is a policy of us avoiding homelessness as much as possible. Meaning, if someone like yourself or myself or anybody in the chat, anybody is going to get to a point where they're about to go homeless, they can go to an agency, and that agency will find them somewhere to sleep for the night and possibly
Yeah.
put them into transient housing. Right? That's what I want. The reason why in New York, this became such a shit show is because we don't have that nationwide, and only New York has it.
Right.
Meaning that if they were to go over to Jersey, it wouldn't exist there. If were to go over to Pennsylvania, it wouldn't exist there. What I want, of course, if you leave it towards one city to have it, it may not work out possibly because of all the flood of people you're gonna get, right? But if we have it nationwide and it's federally funded,
That's what I'm saying.
then we may
Because
have a better outcome.
We happen to have a homeless shelter ran by the church near where I live, and people from Oklahoma, people from Texas, they start flooding towards us because there's no help anywhere else in America. And you're exactly right. It needs to be statewide, federal. There needs to be like a federal housing authority where you're guaranteed a place to not freeze to death. You know, and there's no time limits, just like in New York City. There's no time limits on the shelter. You can stay in the shelter you can live in there for 10, 20 years. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should be. That's compassion. That's how, and then until you're there, until people actually experience homelessness for themselves, they're not going to give a rat's butt about people, you know? Usually you have to know somebody, or you have to go through it yourself, though.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's
It's
one
hell.
and that's one of the big problems that we have, I think, as a society, where we've become less empathetic towards other people, and we have influencers, typically on the right, who promote not being empathetic, which is a huge issue.
And Caddy Joe's making a good point. You know, it's the churches. It's like you're holding it over your head. Like you gotta listen to their BS and listen to their religious crap in order to stay at the shelter.
Yeah.
When you know, it's your human right, and we have to demand it. And until we start demanding it, it's just yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
we're on the same.
Yeah. Did you disagree with anything else?
Well, I want to say the prison industry abolition, if they would just provide people a place to stay, like open the prisons where you can go in and out of it, that would solve 99% of the problem. I don't mean that literally, but if those prisons were just places where you could go in and stay and get up and go to work, that would solve. Those people wouldn't probably be in prison. It's the stress
Mm-hmm.
of you got to go out and commit a crime to pay rent or something a lot of times.
As a matter of fact, there are programs, I believe, in Scandinavia. If a prisoner shows that they can survive outside of a society, they would actually you live in the prison, but you go to work outside the prison. Like they give you autonomy to go ahead and go to work, but you have to come back to the prison because that's where basically you're living. You know what I mean? You can't live amongst society. You can only work, but you can't live. And of course, they track them. Of course, make sure they got the ankle monitor on. Making sure that they're at work and coming back to the prison. Yeah. So that they do track them, but that does give people a degree of autonomy. Now, should that happen to everyone who goes to prison? Probably not. You know what I mean?
No.
But people who show that they can function outside of society, I think that'll happen. So I think people who are convicted of like essaying women and children and unaliving people, that they probably shouldn't get that opportunity. And I'm talking about unaliving in cold blood. You know what I mean? I think they probably shouldn't get that opportunity. But others who are just there for like robbery and arson or something like that, then yeah, I think they should get that opportunity.
I go back and forth between, because like I'm like, why not just capital punishment all the people that can't be rehabilitated? But on the other hand, I'm like, they only did that because they're mentally ill and because of the shit society that we set up. Like I don't know, if we had all these things in place, they might not have unalived somebody over a rug deal gone wrong, or you know what I mean?
No,
So,
agreed. Like a lot of this is tied into our mental health faculties. Yeah, like I agree with that. A lot of that is tied in.
I gotta tell you, man, there's a big mental health problem in the black community, and that I've seen in myself for New York City. Like, there's just these. And I'm not being hateful. I'm just saying, like, there's these guys. There's so many like black guys that are crazy, bro. And I mean that with all due respect. Do you notice that? Like, they're like old school type crackheads or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
the ones that's been on the street for years, they have deep mental issues. But just amongst the young people, there is an issue, especially if you're living in a pretty violent area, in a violent neighborhood. A lot of those young people actually have PTSD, and if you talk to them and they describe to you what they went through, the violence that they've seen, it's basically like talking to a soldier who's been in a war zone. A lot of young people in these neighborhoods, that they either have PTSD, or they have like ADHD, and it hasn't been properly verified. You know what I mean? And we have an issue of misdiagnosis of young black people, especially young black boys. They get misdiagnosed all the time with dyslexia, with ADHD, with behavioral problems, and a lot of them just may have PTSD. You know what I mean? So it's a really big issue within the black community of misdiagnosis and lack of mental health access, which is why I believe in universal health care and why I'm gonna become a therapist myself in order to help people out, because I know when I went through a violent event, it gave me nightmares and I had nobody to talk to. You know what I mean? So I had nobody to talk to. I was really confused. I was really scared. You know what I mean? And that came out in very toxic ways in my early and mid 20s. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of young people are going through that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they living in, very rough neighborhoods. They may be going through that. So that's the reason why I chose to become a therapist, and why I believe in universal health care, because if that was the case, a lot of these kids might have been able to get, a child psychologist without their mother and father having to pay, an arm and leg for it.
Right. And how about we get some dental care too? Like, what the hell? I live in a poor YT area, and these half the people don't have any teeth. They're totally rotted out their teeth, and I'm not. I don't know. I just feels like black people keep their teeth longer. I know that's really to say, but I mean, but we just don't brush or something. I don't know. But if we you gotta get that damn. I want to keep my teeth, man, but it's expensive, bro.
It's expensive. It's very expensive.
It's $800 to get this cleaning that I need. And that's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not. My sister is a dental hygienist, and she's gonna be a graduate as a dentist next year. Yeah, she says she's gonna start off making probably $300,000 a year just because of how expensive teeth are, and she was surprised how expensive teeth are. You know what I mean? Just out of that. So yeah, I think dentistry should be added. I never understood why dentistry is not considered part of the medical field. It really is. Like your mouth could affect your brain. You know what I mean? So
it affects your brain and your heart.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
it affects your heart.
Yeah, exactly. So I never understood why dentistry is not part of the medical field, or not part of like health insurance. Period. It should be. You have to have different insurance from your health insurance. Kind of crazy. Hey, I appreciate that. But yeah, I agree with that definitely. But all right, baby. I appreciate you being up here. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get somebody else up. Appreciate you being up. All right, guys. How's it going, Carl Martin? How's it going? All right, y'all. Go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing. Let's get to about 5,000 views. I mean, I said views. Let's get to about 5,000 likes within the next few minutes, if y'all like. If there is something on the board that you do not agree with, go ahead and come on up and we could talk about it. Definitely. I appreciate everybody who's been sending me gifts. I do have a gift goal. Let me go ahead and put that gift goal up. Give me a second here. I'm going to go ahead and put that gift goal. Go ahead and pin that. Hey, I appreciate that, Kate. Appreciate the paper plane, Kate. All right, y'all. I went ahead and yep. I went ahead and put that gift goal on up. All right, Rubinator, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and invite you up and we could talk about reparations. Rubinator, how's it going? Are you over 18 and you want to speak about reparations, correct?
Yeah, I do agree with the concept of reparations, but I don't agree with just like cutting a check to like every black person in America, for the simple reason that I think after it happens, that will be used as an excuse to not like fix institutional racism and stuff like that. So I think it should be like reparations should happen, but they should be like, it should be prioritized as like investing in predominantly black areas ensuring that black people have additional education opportunities and stuff like that. But I don't agree with like the idea of just cutting a check.
Mhm.
Maybe at some point that should happen, but definitely that shouldn't be the first step, because I think that conservative politicians will use it as an excuse to decrease funding in other ways.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree with
Curious
that.
about your thought on that.
No, that is something to look out for, right? Now, the other side of the coin would say is that if we do what you're saying, right, investments, changing these type of things, it all it takes is for someone like Donald Trump to say, oh, this is DEI or oh, this is racism to cut the program out. You know what I mean? So each case case what you're
I
saying
mean, that in
does
this
have
circumstance right now, in this current political climate, it's untenable. We can't do anything right now because of
Yeah.
the people that are
exactly
power.
exactly. So
it's really disgusting.
right, exactly. So that's why when people talk about reparations, they're less on the program side and more on the cutting a check. But I do understand your concern of then a conservative can just say, okay, we don't need to fund the schools in this black area because they all have
Like,
the
oh,
money.
we gave them all $20,000, and
Yeah, exactly. Let's
look,
not
there's
fund the
inequality, so they just can't do it.
let's not fund the school exactly.
Right.
Which is why I've always said
Exactly.
we would have to do both at the same time if any one of them are possible. I think the one that's going to be much more possible is what you're saying, the investments, changing around these institutions. That may be more possible than the money thing, because even though you and I may agree that African Americans should get cut a check, we know the political climate is going to be like, you know what I mean? Even for people who may be on our side, you know what I'm saying? Even they will be like, oh, let's not do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do get your concern. I
And
do
there's
think
a history of black communities doing extremely well with opportunities
Exactly.
available,
exactly
even without outside financial assistance.
Exactly. I think if it was up to me, right, the first step in reparations would be like every single red line area, the schools in those area all are tied to a technical program, like for welders, plumbers, electricians, things like
What's
that.
a red line area? Sorry to interrupt. What's a red line area? I haven't heard that term.
Yeah, I got you. A red line area is basically remember when back during the New Deal, right? FDR passed with the Federal Housing Association. Basically, the mortgages that were backed by the government, they weren't backed if you lend it to black people. You know what I mean? So what happened was that these banks and lenders, they will look at neighborhoods that are majority black and write a red line around them on a map and said, okay, these areas, the government is not going to back us if we lend to these areas. So they shaded them in red and said, we're not going to lend to these areas. Yeah, that happened. And what's that thing? And not only that, they didn't just redline those areas. Even if you're a black person, period, they just wouldn't give you a loan. Even if you had the income, the credit, the family structure, all that, they just wouldn't give it to you. You see what I'm saying? And they will push you more into those areas, the red line areas. So it was just basically a federal and a private, basically like a policy, both by the government and by the private market, to basically make black people poor, essentially. So those areas and those red line
And sequester them in communities.
exactly. So those schools and those areas now are some of the poorest schools that you'll see. Like if you go to East Baltimore or East St. Louis or like Detroit or areas in like Southside Chicago, a lot of those schools that have issues with funding or literacy, etc., 100% of them are in red line areas. You know what I mean? Same thing happened to Compton. Compton used to be
It's like you were saying earlier,
yeah. So like
the dyslexia stuff. Like obviously everyone's going to be diagnosed with dyslexia if they're going to a school that is unequipped to teach them
and poorly funded
language skills.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
poorly funded. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say my if it was up to me, the first step of reparations is like in these red line areas, not only is the school properly funded, but they're also funded to have technical programs. So for every single student that graduates, they graduate also as a welder. They also graduate as an electrician, as a medical biller and coder, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying? So that way, right out of high school, they could go straight into the workforce. And not only that, these are well-paying jobs, right? So they go straight into the workforce, into these well-paying jobs. They'll be able to, fund the area on themselves through their taxation, through their work, they'll be able to maybe possibly even buy the houses that they're renting. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would that would be the first step that I would take.
And so many of the other things that you're discussing are just universal policies that would, in themselves, benefit Black people.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
universal health care, ending the war on drugs. So yeah, I agree completely. Thank you. Right on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do appreciate you being up though, brother. I'll
never
you have a good one.
Of course.
Alrighty. All right, guys. Keep liking live, keep sharing. I do see the other guests. I'm sorry, I didn't see it then. What's going on, Jam? What's going on, Brianna? I appreciate you guys being here. Give me 1 second. I got the real Charmed or the real Charmand.
Yes, sir.
Charmand, how's it going?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I just heard what you just said, and like the guy that was on your live was saying that you don't want people to be cut a check, but this was done to other communities,
It was.
and we got to see. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was. It was.
He's
on the
got
news.
cut a check.
Mhm.
Okay. The Native American got cut a check. So what is about the Black community that can receive a check, and we have to do policies?
Yeah.
instead?
No, I 100%. I agree. I do get his concern though, because yeah, a lot of them would say, "Oh, we gave them a check, therefore we don't have to fund this, that, and the third." When they still do have to fund this, that, and the third. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
but
I
what
get that
you said-
concern. But you're absolutely right. They should
You
should
said
cut a
that-
check. I agree with
You
you.
say that you agree with him that this preparation need to be done based on policies. Listen, policies have been implemented for what, since the 1960s, after the New Deals, and then they're trying to do a DEI for integration and all that. Has that really made up the lack of those 400 years when you
No, of
couldn't
course not.
own anything?
No, of course not. Of course not.
And if you think that policy gonna change that, even within the policy themselves, as you see today in 2025, it takes a stroke of a pen to remove those progress that we made for the last 50 years by removing DEI, which is opportunity for people of colors and disadvantaged communities. A stroke of a pen. And companies start implementing that, and then everybody now regrets 30 years back.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I'm
No,
always
give me the
saying.
money first, and then we can talk. Let me see what I'm gonna do with my money. I can buy some land. How about the lands that I work on for free? How about you give me half of that? And you keep half, because those land belong to those families. Those, the slave that was brought up from Africa. I'm from Africa. Okay, they took my people from the continent and come and work for free. Right, so I'm for reparation. Cut me a check, because working back in the day, nobody was working for free but Black people.
Yeah, true.
You understand? If you work on even those people that was monitoring those slaves were being paid. It wasn't free.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Only the one that were doing the hard labor were doing it for free. Both, whether you're a house slave or a field slave.
No,
So all 400 of free labor for 400 years. And if I ask you, pay me 100 years of labor, do you really think this country, the United States, don't have enough money?
they got
to
it, bro.
pay?
We know they got it. They got it, bro.
man.
We know they got it.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
they got it.
Let's keep it real, bro.
Let's keep it
Let's
real.
keep
Yeah,
it
we
real.
know they got it. And the thing is, what a lot of people don't know, you're from Africa, right? What a lot of people don't know is that even though the most popular slavery that's talked about is that happens here in America and happened in the Caribbean, it happened in Africa too. A lot of those colonizers were going there and enslaving
forced
those people as
labor.
well.
It
Yeah.
was for free. It was called forced labor. It wasn't slavery, but it was called forced labor. We were working for free.
Yeah.
My great grandparent worked for free. They were not doing it. It wasn't slave labor, but they were working for free. They were working for free to build for the colonial powers. Free
Exactly.
labor.
Free labor.
Only they can do it to black people. When the other one put the food down and say, no, we want our money back, they hurry up and say, no, cut them their check. We don't want no problems. With the Asian community, we don't want those problems. But in America, because that's the lane, we don't want those problems. But when it comes to blacks,
It's a problem.
Let's do a policy. How about policies? How about we do integration? Huh?
Yeah,
How's
yeah.
that look? How's that look for? I don't want you to get mad, but that's how we can do. For real?
Yeah.
Come
no,
on, man.
No. I get what you're saying. His point was that the conservatives are going to try to backfire if you give the money first. So the way it should do, we should probably do it like in tandem together,
Right.
which is what I agree with. We got to do it in tandem, not just
Right.
the policies and not just the money. Because if you do them both by themselves, we know what they're
Right.
going to say. If you give them the
Right.
money by itself, they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, we ain't got to fund the schools no more." If you fund the schools, they'll be like, "Oh, what you need the money for?" You know what I mean? So
Right,
we got to
right.
do it together. You know what I mean? That's what I always say.
I get what you're saying. And I really think that if this had to be really pushed forward, as something that to come real, we have to get serious about it.
Oh yeah, bro, hell yeah.
Serious about it. And how to really implement it. And what I'm trying to say is because this has been done, no, the Japanese community, when they were being dogged out, they were racist against them, and other communities, they came for the money.
They came from
They
that
didn't
check.
come for say, don't give us land, do integration, do DEI. Although all those people are also benefiting for DEI. Now, you know what I'm saying? They're all minorities. You understand? But why is that a problem? I'm trying to say, I'm just trying to apple to apple here. Why is that a problem? That if we ask for money, it's a problem. Because it was done for other community, it wasn't done for us. That's what I'm trying to understand. I just need a friend.
Say that one more time.
I say I'm trying to understand. I just need a friend.
Oh,
If it was done for others, why? If you want to keep it equal, and we say we have a land of opportunity for everybody, if you pay Peter, you have to pay Paul.
gotta pay Paul. No, 100%, 100%. Like one thing that I'm really happy to have seen is that the African Union has declared the Caribbean and African Americans the sixth region of Africa. Like, cause the thing is, like, if the African Union got serious, you know what I'm saying, that is a very powerful move, a very, very powerful move. They basically
It is
declared
a
us a
power-
nation, you know.
Yeah, it is a powerful move, but again, I'm gonna really tread carefully when it comes to the African Union. I'm gonna tread carefully because I personally experience with African Union. But
yeah.
when it comes in terms of the black community at large, it is a very strong statement moving forward. You understand? Very strong statement moving forward. And I'm a Pan-Africanist, and I do like this kind of statement. It's good to bring all the black community together. It makes us stronger, right? It makes us way stronger. But to go back on the topic, though, if something has to be done in terms of reparation, yes, it doesn't have to be monetary. It can also be land, because land is money.
Land is money. No, you're right. Land is money.
Real estate is the greatest of all. Look around you. This is billion of dollars. Imagine if any person, any free slave, I got a swath of land when they got free in today's economy.
Oh, they would have been millionaires or billionaires by now.
That's
Definitely.
entirely correct. And those same, landowners, do they still own those lands? Maybe it's called generational wealth,
Exactly.
which is bought by real estate, which is land.
Which is
It's
land.
not really the building, it's the land that appraised. So, well, get us some land. I'll take some land.
Yeah, shit. I'll definitely take some land. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to say,
I'll
bro.
definitely take some land. Yeah.
Right, I take some land. And listen, you don't have to. Man, we have hectares and hectares of cornfield, which my cousin and uncles that got sent your work for free. Give us some piece of it. Give us some of it, because we work there for free. You can't give me money. Give me assets. I take assets.
Yeah. Assets will work. I want mine
work.
assets.
Right, I want my asset. Asset is money.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I can keep it in the family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah, because the dollar, the money can go away. Yeah, it's a way to invest. There's a way to invest once you get a big swath of money. Of course, I'm just saying that to be practical about it, it's not for me. So for me, I don't think it's okay to say that if we get money is wrong because it was done for other communities. So it's not wrong. If you want to be fair, then be fair. And then we can ask for others. If you don't have money, you can get land. It's one or the other. Which one would you want?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Definitely agree.
but my brothers and sisters have to get serious about it. They have to push it because they're not pushing it. And that's what I'm trying to say, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I definitely agree with you, bro. Definitely agree with you 100%. Shamar, I'm gonna try to get some more people up, but I appreciate you. All right, bro.
All right, bro. Thank you for bringing me up. Appreciate you.
Not a problem.
All right.
All right, guys. Trill, I know you are a friendly of mine. I'm gonna have you up for a little bit, but y'all, go ahead and keep liking the live. I haven't gotten a lot of guests tonight. I'm not sure why or what's going on. They just may not like what I'm trying to say up here, what I'm trying to do up here. But let's try to go ahead and keep more likes. Keep liking the live, y'all. Keep liking the live. Let's try to get more guests in here. Try to get me into 5,000 likes, y'all, and then we will try to get more guests. Trill, how's it going, bro? You there, Trill? All right, y'all. All right, y'all. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep liking the live. Let's hopefully we'll get someone else that will like to come on up. Caddy, how's it going, Caddy? You were saying something about the BRICS is trying to cause an alliance. What's going on with that?
So if America pressures the rest of the world, right? What happens is, and we're already seeing this, India and China are becoming more friendly again with each other, and we have the global South, which is Africa. You know what I mean? And if Africa, the global South, and India and China can get on the same page, they can create a rival currency, which will set the stage for World War III, which is probably what Western globalist capitalists are trying to do, force that situation to a WW3 situation. But the problem with that is, if that rival currency can combat in the American currency, what happens is tensions get more different in the capitalistic space, because capitalistically speaking, America and China have like strong capitalist relations in a way. You know what I mean? Keep in mind, we owe China a lot of debt. You know what I mean? We owe them a lot of debt. So, China's Belt Road Initiative in its new modern day era is making strides because they're not doing what the West does. They're coming into places like Africa and other places being like, yo, we'll fix your infrastructure, and all you got to do is let us install a military base here. That's it. We don't want no IOUs, no nothing like that. Just let us help fix you up, and all we ask is you let us put a military base here. And so, it's really, this is why, going into social media, they need to check us in social media and box us in and black us out so our message can't get out, because they need to control the social media narrative, and that's what they're doing. You see it right now. TikTok's being re-regulated. All this stuff. They're trying to box Americans in from the outside world, and pretty soon they're going to make it illegal to have a VPN to change. So you can't see what's going on in the outside world. So you can't have diverse global opinions. So you can't see the front lines of what's going on in certain countries and stuff like that, because they plan on boxing us in and doing their imperialism underneath fascist theocracy, so they can justify their globalist agenda to get the resources from other places, to extract the resources, to cause proxy wars, to help the military industrial complex, and to also, set up real estate. You hear Trump talking about all the time, real estate in Gaza, a nice little resort he wants to do, stuff like that.
I'm not gonna.
Their agenda.
Yeah, of course. I ain't gonna lie, bro. If they try to do a thing where they imprison us, basically where we can't get any news from anywhere around the world, where and we can't even use a VPN and stuff like that, because all of that would affect like what we could see on Netflix and stuff like that. I think the administration will probably even lose some of their own supporters. You know what I'm saying? I think that at that point, that's when the diehard MAGA people will wake up and be like, hey, yo, he's going too far. We're in a fucking prison now. You know what I'm saying? I think at that point, that's when they'll realize it. You feel me? But
Yeah.
I'm also afraid that at that point, it could be too late. You feel me? It could be too late. So it's like you threw away your freedoms because you didn't like trans people for some reason, and it just be kind of crazy. You feel me?
People forget about film history. And film history fought hard to be able to show nakedness, to be able to cuss, to be able to do stuff like that on TV. And the only pushback that they had in film history was, the religious community was like, no, 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 no. And that's when the advisory sticker came out around that time, when people were, all mad about what's being shown on TV. But now you force that in harder and be like, no, we can't have diversity in films. We can't have, inclusion in films. We can't have LGBTQ stuff in films. You know what I mean? You tighten it, and then you're like, oh, we can't have cussing anymore in our films. And you start going further, and it's like, hold on now, because not all Republicans are, religious in a sense. Some of them lean a little bit religious, but not fully. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So once you start taking the candy away, you know what I mean? All the entertainment and the candy away, people start going, hold on now. It was one thing, to do this and this, but it's another thing to touch my such and such and such and such. You know what I mean?
They don't get it until it affects them.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly, man. Oh man, this is one of those days, man. Like it's hard to get a guest for some reason.
That's part of the reason that's what they're doing. You can look at it right now on TikTok. They already have plans and infrastructure on the TikTok to shadow ban you, or to make it so that they can better pool who are you they're going to consider socialists, so they're going to consider the enemy. And Trump already has his rhetoric. So what this does is it builds a database of these people. It shadow bans us, but builds a pooled database to show them who these people are, and they come after them and portray them as the enemy within. And that's what they'll do. And they'll stop targeting once they start targeting immigrants and marginalized communities. What they'll go for is the person they consider a socialist, the person they consider not for capitalism, not for the Western expansionism. And they do that by shadow blocking you, but pooling you in a little data pool so they can look at who those people are and target them. We already know they do this AI algorithm stuff in some crime and some policing. They rely on machines to police the area and tell them where crime is more likely. And it's highly racist algorithms. It's highly based in racist data. You know what I mean? And they go around these communities based on where they think crime is going to be the most likely based on algorithm data. So, one thing Americans aren't waking up to is supporting data mining and data privacy laws. These are very important in America right now, and we have the worst data mining and data privacy laws in all the world right now.
We
have
do.
the worst.
Yeah, we definitely do. Can you give me a 1 second, Caddy? I appreciate you. Ortho Logos, how's it going? Are you over 18, and did you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yes, I disagree with all of it, actually.
All right, great. Go ahead and I'll put 15 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and let me know what you disagree with and why.
I disagree with universal health care. I disagree with universal education. I disagree with guaranteed housing. Disagree with workplace democracy. I disagree with end the war on drugs. Disagree with the prison industry abolition. I disagree with the living wage, and disagree with reparations.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to?
Can you tell me a good reason why we should keep having the war on drugs when it shows that it's been ineffective and costs us more money?
How's it been ineffective?
Because we still have some of the highest demand for substances in the world. The drug cartels are some of the most powerful institutions in the world. It's caused billions of dollars each year. It's caused death on an unimaginable scale, and it's caused the stereotype of people who look like me.
Okay, so I guess it depends on what the purpose of the war on drugs was, right? I think that some people would say we need the war on drugs to reduce the amount of people taking drugs, and others would say we needed the war on drugs to punish criminals and make their lives harder. And crime has gone down since things like the war on drugs and the 1994 crime bill. So they were a success for me because I'm looking to reduce crime and arrest criminals. That's it. So we should not end that.
But we can do that through. Isn't it true that those things can happen through other means, and crime goes down through other means as well?
I mean, what other means of crimes? What, I mean,
Alleviating
what
poverty.
other example?
Alleviating poverty.
Well, why do the poorest cities and poorest counties have the lowest crime?
They don't.
Yes, they do.
Which ones?
Hold on, let me pull it up. Hold
All right. So
on. I
the
got you then.
like crime is two things, right? Crime is called about two things: poverty plus proximity, which is why like the largest cities, you'll see crime in larger cities, right? But when I talk about when crime goes down, right? You put it all on the 94 crime bill, but you haven't talked about like things like rising education standards, lowering poverty rates, which has lowered since then as well, and basically taking lead out the water. Yeah, I mean, for example, we had a whole bunch of serial killers in the 70s. By the 80s, all of them disappeared, and the thing that changed from the 70s to the 80s was lead in the water. You know what I mean? So these are these environmental factors are also factors in why crime decreased, not just the 94 crime bill. And what we've seen from the 94 crime bill is
So
one of the other issues that we've seen from 94 crime bill is that we've seen a huge amount of incarceration for petty offenses and the criminal stereotype of African Americans, both of which are negative.
yeah.
So
done?
why keep a policy that basically criminalizes me for the way I look?
Okay.
I gotta mention the Freeway Ricky Ross story. If you're familiar with that, I suggest you look up the Freeway Ricky Ross story.
Yeah, watch the TV series Snowfall. It gives a good rundown on what happened with that. So the person who the president that created the war on drugs, right? The Nixonades, they admitted that this was just simply a dog whistle to attack black people. So
No, they
we
didn't.
yes they did.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
They did.
But I'm gonna give you these stats. For some reason, my thing is loading.
All right.
All
So
right.
I've already
So
go ahead.
can I finish? All right. So hold up. Good grief. Let me get some sense. Profile information. Okay, yeah. So Issaquah, Mississippi, Holmes, Mississippi, Star, Texas, McDowell, and Olswin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Kentucky, are the poorest counties in the entire country, right? So the poorest counties, their median income is between 28 to 32,000 dollars a year. However, their crime rate is less than the national average, right? So let's go to gun violence, legal ownership. In these counties, 50 to 60% of households own firearms. However, they're responsible for less than 10% of gun deaths. Um, well, there's 10%, something like that. I think it's 10% less. Now, violent crime rates in the poorest is 200 to 500 per 100,000 compared to the
Okay.
ones that we
I get it right.
yeah
You can keep repeating these. How many people live there?
these are counties.
Yeah. How many people
I
live
mean,
there?
I don't know the exact. This is per capita. So it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't. It's per
It
capita.
does.
No, it doesn't. It's per
Per,
capita.
per
It does
capita is
not
still
matter.
per capita is
I agree.
still per capita is still influenced by population.
Right. Well, I'm aware, but you said poverty equals crime. However, we're
I
not
said
seeing
poverty.
these influx of crime.
I said crime. I said crime is poverty plus proximity. So the largest cities are going to have crime. You didn't hear me
I
say
know,
that?
but proximity to what?
Other
Proximity
people.
does not mean population.
Yes, it
I
does.
know,
Proximity
but
means other
no,
people.
it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Proximity, that's not what it is. Proximity is closeness.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you're assuming that these aren't areas of which they're close. You're assuming that.
are the you,
They have
you
the
said
lowest education according to the
I
to their
I got you,
education
which is
department.
why I asked how many people are there. That's
It's
going to affect
per
it.
capita. Their counties. I mean, I don't have the
Right.
specific population. Per
If a
capita is the
count,
best.
hold on. Cook County, Illinois has over 5 million people in it. If you compare it
Okay.
to one of those counties that have 2,000 people, you're gonna see a
Okay.
problem there, aren't you?
Okay. So let's compare it to other counties that have a different problem. They have the same population, but they're not as poor and they're still as violent. you're still not proving. You're assuming that it's because of poverty. However, I just showed you places
I
that do
just,
not have an influx of
but
poverty
I said, but
and
I
crime. They
also
don't have
said,
that.
yeah, I corrected myself. I said poverty plus proximity.
Okay.
More
Well, let's
people.
look at let's look at the incarceration in these areas. They have the harshest, like you see in Mississippi. They have the harshest criminal justice system, as in no bonds, first time offenders get it harder, and they have the lowest crime in the entire country, right? I could say, well, that's the reason. You're saying proximity. I'm saying because they have harsher penalties for criminals, and you're saying we should lessen that or something like that,
What
right?
the thing is, you're simply claiming they have harsher plenty of. Well, you're saying okay.
They
There's
do.
there's hold on. Listen. You're saying that they have low crime and they have harsh sentencing for criminals. You realize that's a correlation causation fallacy, right?
What do you mean that's a correlation causation? I mean, you just did that. I said I could then say that that's the reason. You're saying is proximity. That's a correlation causation fallacy.
No, it's not a correlation causation
Yes,
fallacy.
it is.
That's literally what they study when you study crime.
Okay.
The two factors that always go into higher crime rates is poverty and population proximity. A lot of
And
people.
not prosecution for criminals. That's not
No.
a factor. They go. Are
No.
you serious?
No, it's
Yeah,
not a factor.
That is.
It's not a
yes,
factor.
it is.
You know why it's not a
Yes, it is.
factor?
Who are you going
So
to say
explain.
it's not a factor?
Explain why the Scandinavia have a more rehabilitative justice system, but they have the lowest recidivism rate.
Okay.
If it was
what's
if it was
harsher
all about
penalties?
if it was
I know,
if it
but
was all
what's har-
about if it was all about if it was all about harsh penalties, explain why countries that do not have harsh penalties also have low recidivism.
So explain to me why.
No, answer that
counties
question
that
first.
no,
No, answer
no,
that
I
question
don't have
first.
to.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't
you
have
do.
to.
Yes,
I
you do.
don't. No, I don't.
Yes, you
No, I
do.
don't.
Yes, you do. You're
No,
the
I
one.
don't.
You're the one
No, I
who
don't.
said. You're the one who said it was harsh.
Fallacy.
You're the one who said it was.
Correlation causation
You're the
fallacy.
one
I
who
wanna
said.
address America.
You're the one who
Let's address
said.
America.
You're the one who said. You're the one who said
Okay.
that you're saying that harsher punishments meaning less crime, right? So
Yes.
explain how countries that do not have that also have lower crime.
Okay, so Scandinavia, what's their crime rate?
And
I'll
what?
look at it. And where'd you go to look at that?
You could probably just Google it, like Norway. Norway has a way lower crime rate than the United States.
Scandinavia
also have
or
a lot
Norway?
less
Which
people.
one do you want me to look at?
Scandin-
Scandinavia or Norway?
Norway is in
What do you want me to look
Scandinavia.
at?
Scandinavia is several countries.
No, but you said Scandinavia. Do you want me to look at
Yeah,
the broad overview or Norway?
the Scandinavian countries: Norway, Denmark. What was another
One
one?
specific one, the entire one, or just one specific country?
Look at Norway then. Look at Norway.
Okay.
Now Norway has a lot less people. That's one thing that's gonna factor into it. But you already knew that Norway has a lower crime rate than America, right? All right. So you know Norway has a lower crime rate than America, right? That should be obvious. They have a lot less people.
Okay, so I'm looking at Prison Insider as to what they do to mitigate it, and one of the things that they did look into, which is what I just said, is preventative measures in the justice system to ensure that this doesn't happen, right? So
Right.
the
So
maximum
not
penalty
harsher
is
crime
20.
rates.
Can I finish? Yes, this is no harsher penalties. That's what I just said, right? So
No,
the
that's not what you just said. You said they looked at mitigations, and it was not
I said
harsher punishments.
penalties to yeah, I'm
It,
trying
wa-
to read
it wasn't. It wasn't harsher
Can I read it to
penalties.
you? Can I read it? Can I read it to you?
Go ahead.
Right. So according to Prison Insider, the maximum penalty is 21 years for traditional crimes, or 30 years for I don't know if I can say that word, crimes against humanity or war crimes. So Norway uses a system of preventative detention, right? So the Norwegian forvaring for dangerous offenders, which can extend incarceration beyond standard maximums under certain conditions. So they do use preventative measures and harsher penalties to mitigate crime.
But
What you're talking about is
preventative measures are not harsher penalties.
Really? That's not a harsher penalty? Extending?
No,
That
extending.
penalty?
Hold on. Are you actually listening to what I'm saying? I didn't say extending penalties is not a harsher penalty. That's not what I said. I said
harsher
I said preventative measures is not necessarily harsher penalties. Preventative measures could be other things to that, like
I didn't say
education and cost.
preventative measures. I didn't say preventative
What'd
measures.
you
I
say?
said preventative detention.
Preventative
That's what they
detention.
call it.
What does that mean? What is preventative
Where they
detention?
keep, I just said, for dangerous offenders, which can extend incarceration.
Yeah, of course, dangerous
beyond
offenders. Like,
standards
hold on,
maximum.
Hortho, hold on. Do you think I'm really saying that to let all the killers and rapists out on the street? Do you think I'm saying that?
That's not what I said. That's not what
Okay,
I'm saying.
so when you talk about dangerous offenders, that's obvious. No one's gonna want to have dangerous offenders out. What are we talking about?
No, but-
when I
but
talk
you
about
target-
when I talk about prison industry abolition, I'm talking about people profiting from the prison industry and creating laws that put more people in jail in private prisons. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about letting like dangerous people out of jail.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
So what are
is
we
preventative
talking about?
Okay. Preventative detention, based off of that standard that they gave me, right? The Norwegian Penal Code allows farthing in cases where a regular prison sentence is insufficient to protect society from offenders who commit an attempt, serious violence, or crimes, arson, kidnap. That means that they can extend your sentence if they feel as if you are not rehabilitated.
Exactly.
You don't
No,
have a
that's
you don't have a set-
that's fine. That's
That's
fine.
harsher penalties.
No,
That's
no,
what I said.
no.
You have longer
That's not.
prison sentences
No. Hold
for
on.
lower crimes.
Stop. When we talk about harsher penalties, when we talk about America, right? America does not do what Norway does. Because Norway has a rehabilitative thing. Norway does rehabilitation, meaning that if they see that you're not rehabilitated yet, then they can extend you, which is what we do here in America anyway. But when we talk about harsher measurements in America, we're talking about the first offense, you get 10, 15, 20 years, no matter what it is. That's a harsher thing, right? For example, when it comes to the war on drugs, crack cocaine was more had a longer sentence than powdered cocaine. That's what we mean by harsher penalties. We don't mean that they're going to extend your they're gonna extend your time in jail if they feel that you can't be outside. We do that here, so that's not harsher penalties.
This is what I mean by that, right? Because I was trying to kind of get this out, right? So, according to Advocates.no, here lies the extreme part. There is no absolute legal upper bound on how long farthing can be extended. The prosecution may request extensions in incarceration of up to 5 years if the person remains assessed as dangerous. So you don't have a set prison sentence. This is not just for, okay, well, you unalive somebody, you're attempted to unalive somebody, therefore you got the farthing where you don't even know when you're going to get out. But that also stands for people who set a fire in public, right? Nobody was harmed. That's considered arson. You burn a flag. That's considered arson. That doesn't just like, or you get into a fight with somebody, right? Or the violent crimes that we see in these areas that you say are just so impoverished, you don't know when you're going to get out. That decreases the person's opportunity. Farthing is not an okay thing, and it's harsh because you don't know when you're going to get out of prison. You don't know. I'm gonna keep you here longer. I'm gonna keep you here longer.
Right. But that's not the way that it works in Norway. What they do in let me finish. What they do in Norway is that they take the things they take the situation under consideration. Meaning that if you burn a flag, you're not gonna just be arrested for arson. Now, if you burn a flag and then you throw it into a cafe, then yeah, you're gonna be arrested for arson. But simply burn the flag doesn't mean you're gonna be arrested for arson. So that like the examples that you're giving
Wait, where are you getting that from?
Because Norway has freedom of speech, so burning their flag is not against the law over there.
No, I said that, but that's arson. But that's
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Burning a flag isn't arson.
No,
I can burn a flag in America, and that's not arson.
No, yes, it is.
No, it's not. Arson.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. If I take a flag and I burn it right now, you say I'm gonna get arrested for arson?
Not at your house, right? If you go in public,
if I go in public and burn a flag, I can do that. That's not arson. If I attack somebody, if I attack somebody with it,
dude,
then it's arson.
This is ignorant. Listen, I'm a fireman. If you start a fire,
all right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Who wanted to be next? Sierra, go ahead and come on up, because I already had in and invited you. I got time for this nonsense. I ain't got time for nonsense, y'all. I really ain't got a time for it. No, for real, I really ain't got a time for it. Like I don't have the time for this, bro. All right, y'all. Who wants to come up next? Keep liking it live and keep sharing. Shout out to everybody who's watching me on YouTube and Twitch. Shout out to Jam, Johnson, Tittles, and Birona. Shout out to y'all. Give me about 10 more minutes, baby. I'm gonna get off in a little bit.
Man, one of the hardest things to do, man, is to go up against people who have isolated algorithms that keep them trapped in their ideological beliefs. And they don't even realize that the algorithms are doing that. And it trenches them further and further into levels of extremism and delusion and lack of facts. So when they're doing their research, they don't know how to do their research non-biasedly. They let their indoctrination get in the way. You see how much credit he was giving the American flag, like it was some sacred item that can't be burnt or can't be freaking touched. You know what I mean? Like, it's just way too absurd. When we talk about freedom, you have the freedom to be able to burn anything you want, as long as it's not starting a wildfire, a forest fire, or burning down a building. As long as it's within fire regulations, you can burn anything you want in a fire pit, including a flag.
Oh, I just wanted to show one last thing, because he told me that they didn't admit that. Here it is right here. Top Nixon advisor reveals the racist reasons why he started the war on drugs a decade ago. Richard Nixon in 1971 declared war on drugs. A top Nixon aide told an author that policy was specifically designed to target opposition to Nixon, blacks and hippies. Right there. So, yeah, the war on drugs was started out of racism. I don't know why people just don't look this shit up.
The reason why hippies were targeted, because during the BeatNet movement, what was happening was Enlightenment thinking was becoming more, the Eastern thinking of Enlightenment and stuff like that was becoming more prominent within those hippie circles. However, they did manage to flood the drugs to make those hippies look like they didn't know what the hell they were talking about and they were just on drugs. So the BeatNet movement got trampled by the war on drugs, the supposed war on drugs, which was just really to target marginalized communities and fund a war over there. That was the whole Nixon's, I don't support terrorists, you know what I mean? But then he finds out I did support you know what I mean? That whole thing there. You know what I mean? So
exactly. I'm gonna talk to Trill next. Jay Saint, how's it going, Jay Saint? Are you over 18? And do you disagree with something I have on the board?
I don't actually. I'm actually 33.
Oh, okay.
From
Cool.
Augusta, Georgia.
All right, cool. Based. Give me 1 second though, Saint. Trill, how's it going? I know you were up here before, but then you had dropped it, came back up. What's up, Trill?
Yeah, I like fell asleep. I'm not sure if I didn't know I came up or not. But I woke back up and I got a long day at work, so really for that. But what was I say? I forgot. The conversation was flowing, but yeah, like some people when they debate, they don't really know the information very well. They just have a talking point, and they just drill down a talking point. Whether it's right or wrong doesn't really matter. And that's kind of what happened with the last guy. I mean, and the fact that he didn't know that Nixon's advisors said that is also like proof of like he's very biased in his information. Because you kind of you didn't know all his information, but you were somewhat familiar with the information that he had. Like, okay, you didn't waste time on saying like no, you didn't waste time doing that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time, bro. Like exactly, there's no point of wasting your time in someone who says that burning the flag is arson. Like that's it. Like there's literally a SCOTUS
property.
Yeah, exactly. You could burn it because it's yours. It's only when it's caused a danger to others is it considered arson. But if I have a flag in my hand and I burn it, I can do it all I want. You know what I mean? If you're gonna say that burning something is arson, then essentially lighting a cigarette in public will be considered arson. This is stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Like majority of the South will be arrested because you know what I mean. Like people in like country towns, burn their garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of that, you got Burning Man. You know, people throw bonfires and stuff like that. You don't need a
Exactly.
permit to do that stuff. No,
Especially if you go on the beach and people gather some wood and they go on the beach and light a fire or have a bonfire on the beach, that would be arson according to him. This is stupid. That's why I dropped him. Like I ain't got time. I got time for that. This is stupid. But all right.
the American flag is not a property of America. The American flag is just a symbol, and individuals can choose to sell that versions of that symbol to private individuals, and with that they can do whatever they want to, including things you don't agree with.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, Saint, how's it going, Saint?
It goes. I'm reading this list and I'm looking at all the things you have listed, and I agree 100%.
All right, cool.
My thing
Base.
is, though, we're talking about all these things, and I can't help but wonder what for if no one's gonna stand up for these things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I'm looking around. I just got back home from Pennsylvania, travel nurse. Came back home. Atlanta is not standing up, and it just blows my mind because in our generation, it always comes down to when we have these conversations. Well, I wouldn't let that happen to me or anything like that, and it's dumbfounding. It's truly dumbfounding.
And then when it starts happening, ain't nobody doing nothing, right?
Right? It just blows my fucking mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I will say,
Mhm.
I don't know about this universal health care because the simple reason is because I don't know how that will work. And I'm someone who works in healthcare.
Mhm.
Yes, the government pays no matter what, healthcare workers are going to get paid.
Mhm.
On that same note, if you've ever seen a list of how much we pay for like supplies, a bag of saline, we pay like 25 cents for it. Turn around and charge you $200 for it.
Mhm.
That shit is wild.
It's wild. Yeah,
And it's legal robbery.
it is. Which is why within universal healthcare, what a lot of countries do is price controls, where stuff like that can't happen. Where insulin literally costs like $2 to $3 to make. I think the most insulin cost to make is $5. And then you have countries like Germany that say, no, we're not going to be paying you $1,000 for insulin. We're paying you 10. Yeah, I mean, because you want to make your profit. So if you made it for $5, we're going to pay you 10. We're not going to pay you $1,000 for the ball of insulin. America doesn't have that. America will be like, okay, we'll just go ahead and give you that money.
See, and that's another thing too, with the way they're spending our tax money. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I get it.
A lot of immigrants may not like this. After 3 months, your benefits should be cut off, and most of that money should be put back into the American people. There shouldn't be dual citizenship for any fucking politician.
I didn't even know politicians could have dual citizenship, because I know when I was in the military, if you became like an officer, you couldn't have dual citizenship. You can only stay enlisted. That's crazy that they can. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's why 250 of them went to Israel.
Oh yeah. You ain't lying. Yeah, I didn't know politicians could even have dual citizenship.
There's
But
quite
yeah,
a few of them.
But you did say, you mentioned about the Israel thing. Yeah, true.
They all have Jewish dual citizenship.
They do.
That shouldn't be legal at all.
No, I think it shouldn't, because like I said, in the military, the moment you become an officer, you can't have dual citizenship. You know what I mean? Especially if you're gonna be a general or something like that, you can't have dual citizenship. You know what I mean? So you have to be a citizen of only one country. So man, I had not known that. But thanks for putting me on, bro. I had not known that. That's a problem. That's
what I'm here for. I'm here to learn as well. I don't claim to know everything. I'm just a regular person. I never served in the military. I wanted to, but it didn't happen.
If anyone ever does, I would say Air Force and go straight to officer training school. You being a nurse, I will have to salute you, because I was a staff sergeant in the Air Force. So if you join right now as a nurse, you'll become an officer immediately. Yeah, I mean, so I'll have you probably become like a second lieutenant or something like that. And I have to salute you.
Yeah, one of my friends did that after we all left the ER because it got really bad.
Hmm.
It was only four black people in there, so it was just like, yeah, we can see the politics.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. There's politics in there too. It can get a bit annoying. So there's always politics.
It's everywhere, and
Mhm.
that's another point to that is too. We sit up here and watch how, perfect example, this girl Diamond, who
Mhm.
got arrested for the accidental death of somebody. Now, if you've ever worked in a nursing home, you know they're understaffed, and 90% of them don't have the proper equipment. These corporations need to fucking be fined
Mhm.
for not having enough staff or the proper equipment.
Mhm.
That girl is about to go to fucking jail for a long ass time on some bullshit because I have watched how nurses will tell aides or LPNs they need to figure it out or they're gonna get fired for not doing their job.
Yeah.
You're dangling their fucking job over their head, so they ain't got no fucking choice.
Mhm. No, no, I'm absolutely right. My lady's an LPN, and she said when she was a CNA, or she started off at LPN, she hated nursing homes. Like I think she quit her first day because it was some bullshit. You know what I mean? So understaffed, they don't teach you a damn thing. Give me a second. Art BMX, how's it going?
Shit, dog. I'm just right here listening, you know what I'm saying, man? Kind of trolling, kind of fucking around. But I'm being serious, though. I don't know. Wouldn't say I know much, but was commenting on the nurses, you know what I'm saying? I know nursing is a bitch and a half. Skilled facilities are crazy, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Shout
Skilled
out to everybody in
facilities,
the
nursing
military.
homes, they are
Mhm.
they are insane. But my bad, Art. I thought you disagreed with anything I had on the board. Did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Um, no, I agree everything that you said
Okay.
would make society better,
Gotcha,
for
gotcha.
sure.
I thought you had disagreed. My bad. Nah, but not a problem, bro. Welcome to the stage. Ooh, here's someone that does disagree with something I
Hey,
have on the
real,
board.
real
Donald.
quick, Bossy.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
man.
did want to say, as far as the sorry, healthcare,
Hmm.
like a lot of it is possible. Just like America, we've been so, like basically billionaires have captured our government and depressed our government's abilities for so long. We don't even know the government can even do certain things. And even overseas, like the successful healthcare system that they've had, they when they try to privatize it, it actually screws up their healthcare system, like the what's it called, the NHS,
The
National Health
NHS. Yeah,
Service, and yeah,
that's a good example.
and the UK,
Hmm.
like they keep trying to privatize it, keep claiming that, oh yeah, it's going to make things cheaper,
It
it's
messes it
going to
up.
make things better. Oh, we're going to use the power of the free market, and it fails every single time.
Hmm.
But instead of the private sector taking a hit, they don't take a hit. They just make more money, and the government side takes the hit because the government side, subsidizes everything,
Hmm.
right? And the government doesn't care about making a profit. It's a non-profit, well, not really non-profit organization, but you know what I mean. It doesn't care about making a profit.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you try to put capitalism on government services, it always fails. Like there is a degree of like, yeah, competition, like you can create a market for certain things,
Hmm.
but when it comes to certain things, it just doesn't work. And what was I gonna say real quick? But also when it comes to holding holding businesses accountable, fines aren't enough. Most because we don't fine enough, and also we don't actually hold individuals accountable. So, like, really, I think we should be taking like half their profits, right? Like, not just fining them, because fines are just like basically permissions, a permission to do fucked up shit. And if you just pay, I don't know, like $3 million, $3 million fine, and then like what do? They not petition, but basically they get the judge to basically lessen it from 3 million to 1 million. You know what I mean? Like that's not really going to do anything. That's just cost of doing business. If you take half their profits, you know what I mean, or all their profits, for doing something as egregious as understaffing the nursing home. Oh, now all of a sudden they start acting right. I mean, but some company might be like, okay, I'm willing to give half the profit. I don't care. Okay, well, how about I start locking you up? Now all of a sudden they want to act right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I mean here. I think we need a belt to ass government. That makes sense. We need a government that's willing.
No, 100%. That's what we need. We need belt to ass government. Like, cause I've always said like if it was up to me, any like after redlining was made illegal, the law I would have put in is that any bank still being caught systemically discriminating against black people on mortgages is automatically gonna lose their license. Like you go out of business. You cannot bank anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember how that the case I think a few years ago where Bank of America was caught once again, discriminated against black applicants and discriminated even against black employees. I mean, if it Wells Fargo too, exactly. If it was up to me, they won't have license anymore. You can't bank anymore. Now now Wells Fargo and Bank of America got to shut down, and you got to pay all those people back. And you got to pay the people that you discriminated against. You got to pay them. You got to pay them too. That's what I would have done. That's would have been the policy. And just like how Saint and you were saying, Trill, these corporations who don't actually staff these places that lead to deaths. Yeah, now your board who decided that. Now y'all going to jail for. Now you're going to get charged with negligent homicide. That's what That's what we need, y'all. We need a belt to ass. You feel me?
I don't think anything you have up here is wrong. I think the conversation about if you agree with it or not is wrong.
Mhm.
The conversation now needs to be, how do you change these things and how can we make these things better? Because this is all this on the board is fucking right.
Mhm. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just needs to change how it's processed and how we can get more money to these things versus giving $20 fucking billion to fucking Israel.
Yeah.
Or any other country. Or I'm sorry, and again, immigrants may not like this. Your benefits need to be limited because there's no way that you can tell me it's fair that you can have the basic bricks for living and someone who was born here can't.
I disagree with that right there.
Well, I was gonna add this. A lot of times it depends on where you live, right? Like, I live in Florida, so the way that it works out down here when it comes to like things like Medicaid is that essentially only citizens can get it. If you're undocumented, they do this thing called emergency Medicaid, but you can't get it like more than once. You can only get emergency Medicaid once, unless you're a pregnant woman, because that has to get paid for, right? So unless you're a pregnant woman, then you can get an emergency Medicaid like more than once. But anybody else, you can't get it. Any other undocumented person, and they have to be under 18 or over 65. Then they can get emergency Medicaid, or pregnant woman. Then you get emergency Medicaid. But anybody else, if you're like a 25-year-old undocumented worker working on roofs, you can't get shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically how it works down here in Florida. And when it comes to like immigrants, of course you have to be a permanent resident in order for you to be like on the rolls and everything like that. But that's just how it works here in Florida. If you have a visa, if you're on a visa, you're not gonna get it at all because you're not considered a permanent resident and you're not considered a citizen. So you can't get it at all. But I'm not sure how it is in every other state. That's just how it is in Florida. I'm not sure about y'all states. Someone did say they disagreed.
Kind of operate the same way. It's kind of like 'cause that's the biggest piece of misinformation that the right pushes, that quote unquote illegal immigrants are getting Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, and it is ultimately a lie. Like what's actually happening is, they're going to the emergency room, and because they went to the emergency room, they can't pay, but they still have to by law be because we live in capitalism, serviced, by that emergency room. Ultimately, I guess they use some form of Medicare or Medicaid to basically foot that bill because they still got to make their money. You know what I mean? And they know they're not going to get it from a migrant who physically can't afford it. I mean, and that's how it works. And really, like, Americans, when we go overseas, we get the same. Well, not the same treatment, but like we get the same ability to benefit from overseas medical care. You know, there's people who go overseas, they get into a little kerfuffle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're injured, and they actually get better treatment. You know, they actually get the same stuff that the citizens get, and you know, it is very affordable. You know, so people think this is like a either or. You have to pick and choose. No, like we don't have to screw over immigrants or migrants. You know, for really any reason, right? It's a false choice. The reason why we can't afford our health care is because corporations have bought out our government. That's why we don't have to say, "Oh, listen," because the government is bought out by corporations. We now have to basically hurt migrants to make up for that fact. Like, no, we don't have to do that. We just have to, like, you know, actually, number one, become politically active locally, not just federally, because some people only vote every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to vote especially the primaries, right? Democratic primaries are very important. Try to vote for not people who can. You do have to vote for people who can win, but like don't focus too much on who can win. Focus on who can win that can push your agenda. That you actually want to see, like we got with Mamdani, like we got with AOC, Jasmine Crockett. Like these are people who, like when they first started out, like, oh, these are nobodies, running against people who are like incumbents. They're like, but you know, they still won because people, oh, I believe this person has the ability to push my agenda further than it would with this milquetoast, you know, Democrat. You know, that's what we need more of. We need more people believing in the system enough to vote in the right people. To number one, push our agenda. Number two, be built to ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need one of my big problems with the Democrats is that every time they lose, and we're telling them that, yo, we want you to go more left. Like this right here should be the Democratic platform. This right here should be the Democratic platform. They would, you know how many people they will win with this? This right here should be the platform, right? So, but like, and the thing is, whenever like there's the Democrats lose, they always think about shifting to the right because they think that America cares more about, you know, LGBTQ people instead of like their material conditions. The only reason that the right wing base has started to denigrate LGBTQ people again, the only reason why that is because Republicans have made it their mission to make people afraid of their material conditions. You know how you have a hierarchy of needs. You have social needs, you have psychological needs, you have financial needs, stuff like that. The hierarchy of needs. If they're able to attack your psychology, your state of well-being, then everything else falls to the wayside. You see what I'm saying? Like back if Republicans never did that, this entire thing about bathrooms and trans people and stuff like that, this would never be a thing. It would never be a thing. The only reason why it is a thing is because Republicans made psychologically attack people to make them afraid of their material conditions, making them afraid that their lifestyle, that their safety is all in danger. You see what I'm saying? But like what we can do to get that back is to make them sure that to get that back. And we don't have to do it with Democrats. We could do it with a whole new party, like how Saint said in the comments. We don't have to do it with them. We could do a whole new party if that's possible. But what can be win people back is to make them realize that the people that are affecting your material conditions the worst is the party that you want to vote into power, and these will make your material conditions better. All of it will make it better. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what we need to do.
The Democratic nomination committee is very corrupt, and what they do is they use far left voices, and they play the far left voices until the last year, and then they switch to the moderate husk Democrat that they picked. So they use far left voices to get the momentum because those far left voices are appearing as Democrats. And so they use those people like AOC, they'll use Jasmine Crockett, they'll use people that are very boisterous like Bernie Sanders and stuff. And then the last year, what they do is they already have their mind made up what middle right leaning type of middle guy they want to portray as a centrist get up on the chopping block to be the next president. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I mean, the Democrats know exactly their key strategies in the Democratic nomination community, but they're very corrupt. And unfortunately, for this United States to finally get the idea, we have to fall into such tight craziness of fascism and racism that there's no way everybody has to be affected, because you see they invest in echo chamber divisional strategy, which is even like algorithm based. There's so many different echo chambers in America, and so many different different types of people that they use the data to trap people within their echo chambers, so that when it comes time for election, they go, I'm just going to vote for a Democrat because this is better than that. You know what I mean? That's the whole idea they think they have. But Democrats are just Republican light. They're just Republican light because they're capitalists, and that's the problem. When we talk about far left, we tend to be less capitalism, and if we are capitalist, we talk about capitalist regulation and ending monopolies and regulating capitalism very strongly, and they don't like that. So most far leftists are socialist leaning, and that's the problem. That the Democrats, they're like, oh, we can't do that because we like capitalism. We don't have a problem with capitalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is like, when it comes to that, right? This is why people say that America doesn't really have a far left. Why people say that? Because like the far left is this, and this is normal in plenty other countries. You know what I'm saying? This is not that far left. You know what I'm saying? So like this is normal in other countries. Like for example, do y'all remember 2008? I don't know if I'm aging myself here, but if y'all remember 2008, right? When the recession happened, did y'all know that like Iceland, the people who caused that in Iceland, they all went to jail? You know what I'm saying? Over here in America, all they had to do was pay fines and they could keep their jobs. Over in Iceland, over in I think Switzerland as well, those people went to jail. You see what I'm saying? Because of
Oh, that's
everything that
not
they did.
true. Remember, there was one guy who was sent to prison. It was some underling,
That one guy, that one guy,
some patsy.
and he's probably out by now. And he has millions of dollars. He can live his life out all well. You know what I'm saying? So this is the type of things that we're talking about. When people look around the world, they be like, "This is what you guys consider far left," and I'll be like, "Yeah, this is our far left," and they be like, "Oh, that's what we have here. You're more to the center." You see what I'm saying? So it's
back into regulation of our social media, and because you see when people are when they have to create a narrative about the outside world that says no, America is great, the outside world is not so great, and they do that by trying to control. They're trying to do that by trying to control the media and trying to regulate the media and lock people behind the wall. And we're, like I said, we're starting to see that they're starting to try to wall us in from the outside world, so we don't know what's going on in the outside world. So we don't see these revolutions. So we don't see how the other side of the fence lives. Because once you understand how the other side of the fence lives, you start to think more in a humanitarian type of way rather than a religious, dogmatic, or a capitalistic type of way. And that starts questioning the system, and that creates a revolution. And that's what they do not want. They want to keep you in the confines of capitalism, but not address wealth inequality, and not address capitalistic disadvantages and monopolies. And you know what I mean? They rather wipe out their poor, and which you can't really do. As soon as you wipe out your poor, you create another poor. There's no such thing as wiping out the poor completely. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about the capitalistic system. There's always going to be within a capitalistic system somebody who is a lesser. You know what I mean? Somebody who's within a capitalistic system, somebody who is a lesser. You know what I mean? Somebody who's within a capitalistic system, somebody who is a lesser. You know what I mean? Somebody who's within a capitalistic system, somebody who is a lesser. You know what I mean?
Like lesbians and gays and bisexuals think that they're not next, right? So they think, oh yeah, go ahead and hurt the trans people because we think they're weird too. Okay, you say that, but remember, they're only going after trans because they lost the battle against making like regular gay bad. You know, like regular gay used to be, oh no, we can't even. Obama wouldn't even say that he was pro gay rights. It was safer to say no, I'm not for gay marriage.
Mhm.
But then was totally okay with it when it passed in the not passed, but like the Supreme Court said it's okay. When the Supreme Court said okay, hey, look, I'm all for gay marriage now. Like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean,
One
so
of the
like
problems.
it's like everyone thinks they're not next. Same thing with the also the Trump supporters. They think like, oh yeah, like they're just gonna black Trump supporters, right? They're like, oh yeah, they're just gonna go after the immigrants. Yeah, they're just gonna go after the immigrants, and then we find out, oh no, they just attacked like a apartment complex with full black Americans. They're detaining black Americans,
Mhm. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Oh, egg in their face. But if you tell them like, okay, what about this? Oh yeah, no, it's just a misunderstanding. I ain't no misunderstanding. Like nothing they're doing is an accident.
Yeah,
All it's on
exactly.
purpose. And
The
the
reason why they
Republicans leverage everything on the premise of hierarchy, right? You're better than the next person, and they try to loosen up your guard so you believe that they're only going to attack the people below me. They're not going to attack me, and they always end up attacking you. And when the sad part is when they do, they cry about it, but then when they stop, they go right back to being okay with it. And it's just,
All right, guys. I do appreciate the conversation and everything that was said. I do got to get out of here, but I appreciate you all. All right, I'm gonna be back here Thursday, so definitely join me Thursday. I may even do a panel by then. All right, but I appreciate everybody being up. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and just drop you all one by one, just one by one. But I appreciate you all being up here. Not a problem, Saint. Appreciate you, Saint. Appreciate you, Caddy. And appreciate you, Trill, for being up here. I appreciate everybody who was watching me over on YouTube. Thanks for the correction when it came to dual citizenship. I didn't see that. Thanks for that. All right, but I appreciate everybody who was here, everybody who came up, all the conversations that we had. We did get to 8,000 likes tonight. Next time, we're gonna go ahead and aim for about 10,000. Again, you guys are amazing. I appreciate you all. Please go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and Laura, if you're still in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and inbox you soon about how to get into the Discord to see. Well, there's one that you can't get into, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know. All right. So I appreciate you all. You all have a good night, and remember to stay smart, observant. You're fallible, so remain thoughtful. All right? Be soft. Peace.